Was greater and greater. Now we 10 faculty.
10 different faculty. And how many students?
10,000.
10,000.
And about 500 teachers.
500.
From the ATC bachelor program, they have an ATC bachelor program, 30 PhD and on 60 something master's program, different. Then faculty we can mention about the art faculty, mathematics, social studies, yes. Education and social studies, yes.
Education and psychology, right?
Psychology.
Psychology, yeah.
Islamic education, yeah.
Islamic education is very important.
Yeah.
So that's science subject.
Social
and economics.
Literature, English literature, and educating, and French literature and translation. Arabic. Very fun.
Okay.
Engineering.
Engineering.
And biological science.
And faculty of sports.
Okay.
I think we just have to maybe mention about the engineering faculty.
You're in charge of the research.
But faculty of engineering is young.
20 years, huh?
Yeah. Up to 100 years.
There, good. I mean, in Milano, he was telling me last night, 150 years. 150 years, Milano, Politechnico.
So you were born
And they were
20 years ago.
Why
you do that? Yeah, we have 5 different courses. We have industrial engineering, computer science, we have
mechanical,
electrical, mechanical, and civil engineering. We have the undergraduate computer science, English and PhD students.
So we started to move up a little bit. I mean,
yeah, the extended faculty, like 2 years ago, we added more courses and more students come to talk to us inside the faculty. How many faculties in engineering? That's one faculty.
You're in faculty university?
25, I think 25.
Right now.
And overall, in the 10,000 students, how many are undergraduate, how many are masters, and how many percentage?
99,000 BA, around 1,500
Master and PhD.
Totally different from
engineering,
but our faculty has 5 departments, and it is better that we start making mixing in both directions. And fortunately, we have the capacity to take some teachers from abroad and give them in our department. Two times we had to shift training, and I brought from Tehran University, teacher. Tehran German. Two times we brought teachers from the Profs, and they teach about the biblical literature and about the methodology of the
For how long?
For 1 month.
Wow.
It all depends on the teacher. Even we can take it seriously. Our faculty has 5 departments: Department of Islamic Law, Department of Quranic Sciences, and Department of Islamic Philosophy, Department of the History of Islam, and Department of Religion and Mission.
Yes.
I myself, I am related to the Department of Religion and Mission.
And now the translation from Lebanon comes from Beirut for Arabic code of doctorate.
For how long?
Now,
This year.
yes.
So we have the experience of inviting professors to stay here for 1 month, teaching.
Up to 1 year,
Yeah.
So if you don't have work,
You provide accommodation, salary.
salary also. Salary.
Actually,
We just money in life.
to be honest, the salary, when you mention about the salary, of course, we cannot compare with the euro and USD. Yeah, but yes.
Salary.
You know, you can go to this kind of activity.
That's what
go to
the
the lecture.
salary, you know.
You might
That'll be enough.
for a period of time.
No one. I mean, we got some more invited people that I think they should appear. Dr. Alipour used to be my former student, and he's the best, the best ever I had in 1-2 years. And we made a paper together with Professor Zio, she was initiating it. I invited her to stay with us today.
The result and the conclusion of the
Correct. And she's doing PhD now in the University of Tehran.
What is the proposal or just anything
No,
else?
it was a random because I realized that the research that we were doing was similar to something I was doing, so we contacted, and then we had mutual
Things just happen.
Actually, Professor, without any you also, how do you think that we can do you prepare collaboration also? Yes.
I can.
Anything that Dr. Saniee Monfared has done.
Then we continue with the presentation and
Sure.
but on this, my experience is that mostly the real collaborations come from the bottom. And the top-down approach is not always successful. I was the director of the graduate program for the whole university.
In Milano.
These are 1,500 students, 35 programs in Milano. And I realized that, at high level, directors of programs, the one understanding is empty. It's a house without furniture, without people. On the contrary, if you have already a candidate student that wants to do an exchange, already professors that are collaborating, you put all these activities inside the one understanding, then this is concrete. I mean, there is already dynamics which can always grow. Okay? So I think we should look at these two opportunities. Signing institutional agreement is always nice, it's always also relationally important, but also building the ground for really growing the
bilateral relationship.
Very good. Of course, when you have one understanding at the institutional level, you can announce it to the students as opportunities. You can say, we have international exchanges, you can go to Milano, to Beirut, to Germany, because we have a package. Then we need to see how you fit in that package. So I think it's important to keep these two doors, these two channels.
Open, both sides,
And see this kind of collaboration, before MOU, when you had initiate some of the research with some of the lecturers, it should be very helpful for carry on and continue the more research and the collaboration. This is the model of the collaboration. And Dr. Javani also do the same. Yeah.
Yes, we have it in the experience. This is what we are continuing because now in the Frankfurt University, and that's a
Which is what they want.
That's why your chair is from.
That's my chair. Now, what happens is, okay, I do that. Now I'm doing research in this, I'm teaching this. Every year, I have to meet twice with the company and explain to them what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And they say, well, yeah, that's interesting, how can we use it? And most of the activities, the PhD thesis that I do, the research that I do, is in collaboration.
But you don't need that approval every year. I mean,
Well,
somehow.
so in principle, if you read the contract, I am free. I could do anything, okay, within this area. I don't have to respond to them. But it says that there is a committee that evaluates this, and they are
Yeah.
So in the end, what they expect is that you're doing something that is of their interest. And I think it's normal. It's a gentleman agreement, you say.
That's understandable.
But they're not forcing you to do exactly something. They want to be involved, they want you to do top research and top education in the field of it.
You acknowledge they're supporting the publication.
But yeah, I mean, I cite my publications, and Monfared knows it very well, you know it very well, as the chair, blah, 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 funded by, well, it's my signal. Not to be acknowledged. It's my signal.
Thank you.
And they also make it a prestige. For them, it's reputation. They present to the advocate, they say we have a chair and we do this, we're funding research. For them, it's also a marketing reputation problem.
Because you're running on the
Milano, Milano is strongly anti-internationalization. They are organized, they are the president and appointed persons, delegates to different areas of the world. And so there's a delegate for this area, there's a delegate for China, we even have an office in China, there's a delegate for South America, Brazil, there's a delegate for Russia and this area. Okay. So the different delegates have the task of establishing relations.
Regarding the Chinese policy, you said that, as I understand it, Italian we are supporting the university courses provided in China.
During campus.
Is this, are you bringing scholarship to students?
They are going to keep the Spain scholarship to students, yes.
In China,
Chinese come here, come to Milano.
okay. So when you said
And
there is no education in China,
And then professors of Milan go to China.
The joint campus.
The joint campus. There's a period, there's at least 2 years that the Chinese come to Milano. Then they go back to China, and the professors go and give classes in China.
and supported by the university.
It's supported by the industry and by the university too. Okay? It's a joint program, so but you have to have an industry behind it. Because it's expensive and because you must have a sense. And the first is we industries are going to China, we are in China. We need people that know the Italian culture, that appreciate the Italian design, Italian engineering, that understand our processes. Not only Italy, American Jewish, French Jewish. That's absolutely fine. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
Process in relation to the companies and find all the companies come to the university and they want to say that we have to do.
Okay.
What kind of relation?
I'll say historically, it's it was the professor that, as an older PhD student in a company, so there is a one-to-one relation in the company, which is started by, okay, either somebody in the company has an interest, has a project, has a problem, and is trying to find a solution to the university, and then meet the professor in task. Now, these things are much more organized. There's still the professor. When I go back next week, I have a meeting with the oil company, and they look for me because I have a certain competence, and they had a problem, so they came back to me. But there's a big effort, and we have an office, okay, of industrial relations. Okay. We have a delegate for that. We have an administrator for that. And there's a lot of work in there with different types of initiatives. So industry either comes to the industrial relation office and say, I have this problem, I want to make this project, please directly inside the competencies of the university, who shall talk to? Or that already know the professor and the professor, or the university promotes tables where makes the big industry sit down and join in projects and establish projects there. Now, both Milano and the schools, they have what we call them foundations. Foundations which are independent, administratively independent bodies. That is Fondazione of Politechnico Milano, Fondazione, Foundation of Social Plan. They are the relationship. They have the task to go around and take the industry in. And what, for example, one initiative they do is, in Milano, they establish joint research centers, JRCs. Okay?
Joint research centers.
First of all, the industries are partners of the foundation. You can become a partner. You must put, I don't know, 50,000 euros a year, 100,000 euros a year, 500,000 euros a year, depends on what you put them inside, say, okay, I put them on the table. Now, I am a member of the committee of the foundation that decides how to allocate funds. I am a train transportation industry. I'm interested in developing predictive maintenance for the trains. So I want projects on this. And since I put 500,000 euros, I have a way to say, okay, let's establish this project. I want to talk to the professors and establish this project. And different industries can join into a joint research center. Okay? It's a joint research center on nanotechnology. Joint research center on materials.
Who makes the announcement?
All of that.
I mean,
that's built. That's built. Of course, this foundation university is the promoter. They go around, they go talk to the president of the energy department, of the energy company, and they say, look, what are your problems? Well, we got problems on this or this. Okay, how about if we construct a technical description of these problems, go to other energy companies, make sure that we don't have any type of copyright problem and these type of things, all these non-disclosure agreements and so on. Okay, we want to do advanced research on these new materials forever.
You see, Professor Zio, this is the theme of this meeting, I mean, basically. I'd like you, to stress more on it. Because, we said we got universities in Iran, established 100 years, 50 years ago, and we got three different areas. They are not connected.
Right.
So we don't know why. I mean, we got a feeling every one of us know why, but, we'd like to, share your story. How this connection could be made? I mean, is it the demand side, or the supply side, or both sides? What's wrong? What's wrong? They didn't want us, industry didn't want us. We're not offering, what's wrong?
Let me just, okay, we can concentrate very much on this, but let me give you an example of this two practical examples of the results of these foundations and the Joint Business Centers. Okay? So, for example, last year, two big partners of the foundation. Okay, one is actually a tire manufacturer. I don't know if you heard Pirelli. And the other is an energy company, okay, in Milano. Okay, they're partners of the foundation. Okay. Now, one-to-one, okay, relationship. An engineer from Pirelli was charged to find a...
So you come back soon? Okay.
We say goodbye. I go to office. Sorry about that interruption.
That's okay. Thank you.
We also trying to see how we can correct the lecturer instead of the go directly take, kind of conference, do the university. What is your experience?
As I said, I think that you have to be a little bit hard. In my opinion, it is correct that the university must give permission for individual involvement with the consultants. Because the university has hired you, you are an employee of the university, and you must make sure that you are giving the task in a proper way. So maybe that's a regulation that you should think about. Anybody that wants to do a personal job must show that he can do it without affecting the work of the university. Then, of course, I think that incentives of projects in universities are very important, and you might also systematize that. The way we get resources for promotion, okay, is based on an evaluation every year, okay, of the individual, based on three things: teaching, papers, projects, with percentage.
Not administrative roles, right?
And then you also, they put now some administrative roles also. Okay. But the main three are, by far the main three are these three. Okay. Training, unfortunately, training is difficult in the sense that the only, and Politechnico, for example, is a formula. The only way they found to evaluate training is a quantitative way, so they count how many students you have.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not necessary. You can have a class of 1,000 students and be a terrible teacher and do it. Okay. But that's the way to do it. Okay. They count how many students you have.
You mean the master and PhD?
You have 3 courses every year, and total, and then you get, so 3 courses, you have 3 courses, and you have 1,000 students. We have 3 courses, and you have 3 students, 1 for each course. They feel that the load is different, your importance is different, okay? It's all debated, it's all debated, okay? It's fight about this. Then papers, okay? They count. They record, they control with all these web applications that
the correct mistake.
And there is not any, the point of the how much money you...
And that is the projects, the money. That is the money.
According to the money that you bring to the university. Amount of the money.
And I can tell you, I'm not completely in agreement with this, because it gets out of control. I can tell you that I have colleagues that have been promoted because they brought along. Scientifically,
Become a full professor, you think? Just for money?
Because if you put maybe, I don't know, 40% training, 40% research, 20% projects, and make it a little closer, okay? Well, if you got billions of projects, you can overwhelm the applicant. So you have 3 opportunities, okay? And you're collecting these every year. So based on this, you have a fraction of promotions. And then the next year you have another fractional promotion. And then at one point you got accumulated enough to be promoted. Okay. And this is something that people are very careful. Okay. And so there's a lot of incentive in bringing projects. In Milano, it's a double incentive because think about it. You can take money out of it, so you can risk, and you actually have a chance to be promoted.
Yeah.
So I think that you should establish a mechanism like this where you take money brought to university as a sign, as a value of your value.
Yeah.
Because again, in principle, it's a correct view in a sense. Okay. If you're able to bring money, it's because you're good. That's not always true, okay? That's absolutely not always true. But in principle, okay, the papers are testimony papers show that you're good in research. If you're publishing, and the community is evaluating your work, good. Okay. Teaching, okay, means that you have a lot of work and that you're important because you got a lot of students. If you bring money, it means, continuously means that people are happy with the work that you're doing, they're asking you. So this is the principle behind. Then, as human activities, it can be a little bit changed and perverted in a sense, okay? But on average, I think it works.
And we get into the mafia, because you're from Italy.
Oh yeah, we don't get the
Yeah, that's what I was telling me. We discussed society and university. What about the mafia? I mean, university mafia in industrial part, and how that third party will affect this relationship.
Well, academic politics. Academic politics.
Even, I mean, I believe that it be. Mafia is academic or no? Mafia is no? Okay. Whatever it is. You just said.
No, I think that the mafia is a little bit more like a professor becomes like himself a mafia. He doesn't want to share his contact.
Oh.
So he doesn't want anybody else to join. He wants to do for himself. Maybe a week ago I had a meeting with a big transportation train manufacturer. Okay. And I was telling him what we do and what we could do together. And he said, yes, that's very beautiful. But first, talk to this professor, because we've been working with him for a long time. He's very powerful, and he also has a big bad attitude. He's very strong, he's got a strong personality. So I don't want, since he's very powerful also at the government, we don't want to upset him. So he said, okay, we'll work with him, otherwise we don't work with him. And this guy I was talking to was the president of the company, and he was a big shot. He said, please, since he has a lot of influence on the National Ministry of Transportation, we need him on our side. So that's the kind of mafia that can happen. Big control. But that's
Or the industry side. What about that? No?
industry side more than mafia is maybe political connections. Let's say. Okay, there are prevalence, let's say, of political parties in our university. So there are many people that are associated with a particular political party. They know each other a lot, okay? And the industry knows that. So oftentimes they support each other. They say, okay, I want to do this job. There are two professors, but let me go to my friend that goes involved in the party and on the I would say that the mafia that we're talking about here in France,
Interesting subject.
for me it's positive because I am in the right side, but not but it's what I mentioned before. It's a strong high-level network. This university in France is forming high directors, high-rank people, And they tend to always come to us for any problem. Other universities are not considered. And in fact, they protest. This is a mega, you know, they go, oh, yeah, that's a very good protesting. There was some strike. But they do, I mean, you say, okay, well, yeah, but this grant they call, this particular universities, of course they're bad, because they always get the money, because they form the people that give the money, and so they come back to them. So some parts should go to universities. So it's that kind of relationship. It's a landlord.
May I ask a question, please? Another project that you mentioned, I want to know actually how much focus is put on the number of professors.
Vice Chancellor is reserved.
Hello.
Nice to have you.
Certainly, yes.
Here is the from Faculty of the Chemistry and the Director of the Research of the Alzahra University.
And a great researcher himself. Yeah. Great.
High citation papers.
Don't tell him that I told your son that I hate chemistry. He's not going to be my friend. He's not going to be my friend. I really hate chemistry. But that's a big friend.
That was the fight between Professor Enrico and his wife. Chemistry. Yeah, that's it.
Your wife?
No, she said she liked chemistry, but then she started.
That's what
You know, I think she was lying. She was just trying to have a fun. No, she's more correct. For two reasons, because she likes chemistry and because she went to financial science. Oh, yeah?
That was nice. That was nice.
So that's one thing. The other thing, I think we need to find opportunities on an individual, or on a person,
Yeah.
on a student, or on a professor that has a chance
To be recorded, eh?
chance to go. That's good, Mike. So I think that if we find a student and maybe a professor, but a student that wants to spend 6 months, or that is stimulated to spend 6 months, a year, or do a PhD, I don't know, then things roll, things repeat. I mean, maybe I can say that the main reason I came to Iran now is because a professor at the University of Tabriz, okay, who know, okay, you know very well, sent to me a couple of years ago a student for 3 months. Okay, so PhD student, okay, come. And then, okay, I knew him before. Okay, I knew this professor before. We had relationships in the conferences. Hi, how are you? Oh, nice, yes. So we're nice to see you. That's it. Students came, we did a good job, we worked together, we published, we started a relation. And then the next time I said, I met Professor Kudo in a conference, and hi, how are you? Thank you for sending it, very nice. And that's just said, maybe one day I come and visit you, and they said, yeah, we're all right. And then he brought me here. Because we have something in common, and we started some work together around the person, around the nice person, okay? And this will continue. So an effort should be, you know, and this is really, each professor should find the person that, you know, can be motivated, can be a good asset, a good investment. And the investment, the asset is good for the person himself. I think that going abroad for some time, seeing a different way of working, and taking the best of the working and the culture of different areas of the world makes the individual strong. It's good for the student. What should tell the student? My students, I always send them out. My PhD students, I just keep them out.
Good experience.
The better they are, the more I send them out. Which is a loss for me, because I got a good student and I send it to somebody else for free. That's bad. And I send them out. In my group, most of the students had 2 PhDs. Most of my collaborators had 2 PhDs. Because I sent them out and said, no, you know what, now you almost finished this PhD, let's see if you can do a double PhD. joint PhD. So, send them out. These initiate tremendous collaboration with the people and then the institution. Because in the end, the institution is made. So, many times.
Lots of joy and happiness for the students.
Great. They change their lives. They change their curriculum. They're unbeatable in the sense of just like one other, the same level.
Make a future. Make a future. That's a big point.
I think it's very, very important. See if you can find in the next times some students that can stay.
So Dr. Shiri, would you like to share with us? He's been recently appointed as a, Vice Chancellor and so, but as I said, he has a great background on
But before that, the director of innovation, but we have a training.
If you have experience with students, you can find them very, very enthusiastic. They like to do collaboration in their research. We have a lot of students.
enthusiastic students. They are here, but they are enthusiastic.
We can have a program for the several students.
He's a man of lots of money. Not only.
Then I like chemistry.
That's the reason enough, right? It's all about chemistry, so no on,
I had one PhD student. Then I had this young student that came from 3 months, and I had another student that came from 6 months. And it's interesting because the student that came for a short period of time, and also the student that came for a long time, I was a little bit skeptical. I said, because this student approached me and said, I want to come to study with you. Are you good? Are you not good? I don't know. I know nothing about Iran. I don't know nothing about Iran universities. I'm an ignorant. Okay? I was very skeptical. Okay? I even thought that they were just saying it. I want to come. Okay? It's always nice to see somebody that says, I want to come and study with you. Ego.
Ego.
Then they came, and I was impressed. I mean, they are enthusiastic. They are hardworking. They're very good. Okay? The student I was talking about before is staying in Italy for 3 months, okay? Italy is a beautiful country. He did not visit any other parts of Italy. He worked.
Fully loaded, by the way.
He said, I want to work. So you need to go and visit Rome, Venice. The weekends, no. After lunch, I want to complete work, I want to publish a paper. He says, okay, I want to push you, but I think you should become
Appreciate short time, so
really, and the others the same. And then the other guy that came for 4 months maybe, and he says, I want to come. I said, what do you want? I want to come 4 months for the professor. I did the rest of the class, okay. And then he came, knocked on my door, I opened. I'm here. Okay, do something. He did a great job. He worked hard. And the guy from the PhD, 3 years, hard working. Still in college, we're still collaborating now from long distance as you can and here. We received an email 2 days ago, we need to establish a new working together. So I know that very, very good population of good people and good, reliable students, and this is very important. So I much prefer, if I must say, I cannot say because it's not politically correct, but I must prefer Iranians than other types of nations. Because I know what I get, and I know what I get to school. So if we can stimulate, if we can announce to the students there is a possibility for a PhD or for period of time. Great. I have a really hard, maybe I make mistakes, but I have a hard time to say no to a student that wants to understand. Okay? And the experiences are not always good. Okay? Sometimes you get students that require more effort in the cost-benefit analysis, which is typical of engineers and only. Sometimes what you get out of the student in terms of technical results is not, you know, as much as you could.
Yeah.
But then you have the satisfaction of having helped the student to other aspects. That's the beauty of it. But I know what I get if I get a higher student. I have a hard time saying no to a student that wants to do something with me or with my group. I know it's an opportunity. So if you can motivate some students, I value knowledge. We don't have very much, social science I think it will be also Italian. We don't have very much social science in our school, but it would be also Italian. In France, you know, the French are very, also very nationalistic, they're proud. So, and they have a number of publications which are solid. They tend to publish a lot in French, also because of the limitation of the language. But nowadays they have realized that they need to move to English, in particular the technical and scientific disciplines. So English is dominating, and it's counted more. Right now, the publications in English journals, in the technical disciplines, definitely more important. But I mean, I have a difficulty. I never write in English. Sometimes I have to translate from the English. Where I have to make a project and make a description of the project, maybe something I had already written in English. I have to translate it. We do, and I force my students, anything they present to me, anything they submit to me for evaluation of the thesis or so on, must be English. We always respect it.
Excuse me, sir. I noticed a contradiction in your speech.
Only one?
Just one.
Okay.
So we do expect that more. Just one. When you were asked about the number of papers published by the professor, you said that the number does not matter. But then you said that you discarded many people based on the number of publications. So how can you resolve that?
Maybe I explain myself not correctly. There was a reference to the number of papers from a project, from an industrial project. Okay? And I said, because I think this was a question,
Okay.
I said that from the evaluation point of view of the project and of the motivation of having a project, the fact that the paper comes out of the project or comes out from basic research doesn't matter. They don't care. The project is evaluated because you bring it up. And it's a message of your research is important for your application, for society, for society. Okay. I think that research is also important just for growing knowledge, not necessarily for something like one. Okay. I totally think so. There's also this conflict very often between applied science and pure science. What is pure science? I think that research is important for increasing knowledge of anything, social, religious, cultural, artistic, technical. So maybe some of the research that we do is not tomorrow applicable. So when we stop it? I mean, all the research, even technical research is done, I don't know, in high particle physics, trying to find the neutrinos. Who cares? The common people are going to say, now they found the gravitational waves, right? They're going to change our world? Nothing. Who cares? Well, I don't think it's important to know. No. And then, of course,